Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Sarah for those of you that might not have practiced with me, and I'll be guiding you through your class here today. Today's class is designed around working towards finding your bind. It's also for those that already have their bind that might like to just revisit that practice. So yeah, we're going to work with the strap today. So I don't actually have a yoga strap. I always use my my strap that I carry my yoga mat on. So if you don't have a strap, you can use that. If you don't have one of those, you can use a belt. You could use, I've used a resistance band before today. So yeah, just get creative. Also have some blocks close by if you do practice with them. If you don't, once again, just maybe invite them into your practice and see what they might be able to offer you today. Yeah. And as always in my class, if there's anything that you don't want to do, doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't align with you, just feel free to park it and leave it, and come to either a child's pose or just take something that feels right for you. I will offer some modifications and variations along the way. So yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to come to start in a seat. So come to find yourself in a comfortable seat when you're ready. Come to find length through the spine, drawing the crown up towards the head, allowing the shoulders to soften. Allowing the hands to fall or place wherever they feel comfortable for you before either coming to close down the eyes or take a soft gaze. And once you've come to find your comfort here in your seat, taking a moment to acknowledge the body before coming to place your attention on the breath. Coming to follow the breath in and out with the mind. So inviting in, we're cultivating breath awareness here. So as you inhale, following that inhale with the mind, and as you exhale, following that exhale with the mind. And just staying here, observing the breath in and out. If you feel like you need an anchor, maybe use the word inhale as you inhale and exhale as you exhale. Knowing that if the mind wanders, this is perfectly natural, just gently guiding your awareness back to the breath, back to the in and out of your breath. And either staying with the breath awareness practice, following the breath in or out, or if you want to add on here, you can start to bring your awareness to where the breath is in the body. So as you're breathing in, you're breathing out, just noticing where that breath is coming from within the body. Maybe it's through the nostrils, maybe it's in the chest, in the stomach, in the abdomen, maybe you feel it in the back body. Just noticing where it is that you feel that you're experiencing your breath within your body. And staying with this, the mind wanders, just acknowledge where it's gone and gently guide it back. And then letting go of your breath awareness practice. And just come to find your natural rhythm of the breath. Starting to bring awareness to the body. Maybe coming to gently open up the eyes. And staying where you are within your seat, or if you've noticed that this seat has become a little bit uncomfortable, come to find maybe a different seat. On your next breath, we're bringing the right elbow in beside the right rib cage, facing the palm upwards to the ceiling. So imagine you're holding a platter in this hand. You're about to serve someone. And then we're going to take this left hand behind our back, either placing the back of the palm on the low back, or you might like to reach that hand round, coming to find our first bind, and taking the right bicep with the left fingertips. And just inviting the breath in here. And then on your next breath, we're going to bring the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Coming to find a stretch through the side of the left neck here. Allowing that left elbow to draw down towards the earth to bring a deeper stretch here, but be mindful that you're not going too deep. And tuning into the body and listening to what it wants here. Maybe the gaze comes down or slightly up if you want a different angle of stretch through the neck. Once again, just inviting that awareness of where feels right for you. Where does that stretch feel good for you? And coming back up through center, coming to place the hands both back down onto the thigh or beside the body. And then we're drawing that left elbow in towards the left rib cage. The left palm is facing up towards the ceiling, taking that right hand back behind us. So as we come back behind us, turn the thumb, so we're facing the back palm to the front of the room to begin with, because this will really help your bind later. We're facing the thumb down towards the ground, and then as we're rotating that arm back behind us, the back of the palm is coming to the low back. Once again, you can either wrap the fingertips around the left bicep with the right hand, or you can maintain the back of the hand to the low back. Drawing that right elbow down towards the ground to help find that length through the neck as we then bring the left ear towards left shoulder. Just taking some movement here, maybe gazing down or up, just connecting with where the stretch feels nourishing for you. And then drawing back up through center, placing the hands on the body or beside the body, and just taking a round of breath. And then in the next breath, sending the hands up towards the sky. Fingertips are reaching up. On your next breath, we're bringing right hand over towards the left knee, and the left hand reaches back behind us for a twist. Maybe the gaze is over the shoulder, or maybe it's down towards the ground. And then drawing those hands back up towards the sky, coming over to the other side. Left hand to right knee, right hand comes back behind us. Allowing the gaze to go wherever feels right for you. And we're going to take 2 more rounds on each side, so flowing with your breath in your time. Maybe using the inhale to bring you up, the exhale to bring into the twist. When you've finished, we'll meet back in center. There's no rush, taking your time. And then when you've done your final round, we're going to extend the arms out long, so they're coming up to shoulder height or thereabouts. You can invite in a nice little micro bend or generous bend into the elbows here. They don't have to be completely engaged and stretched out, but they can be if you want them to be also. Palms are facing down. And then on your next breath, we're going to turn the palms so that the palms are facing upwards. And then come to bring the palms to face back down. I'm going to take this a couple more times, and I just want you to invite in that awareness of where that rotation is coming from. Is it coming from the wrist? Is it coming from the forearm? We want it to be coming mainly from the shoulder. So just tuning into your body and just noticing where that rotation is coming from, and make adjustments where necessary. If it's not happening in the shoulders for you, that's also okay. And then maintaining this, bringing the hands so that they're still extended out, palms are facing down, coming back through center where we began. And we're going to turn the palms to face upwards again, but this time we're going to rotate a bit more. So we're going to try and bring the thumbs so that they turn towards the floor. Not necessarily would they go, they might, depending on your flexibility. And then as we turn the palms back down, we're coming back the other way. So palms are facing forward, thumbs are facing down. Maybe you take that a little bit further, that rotation. And just move in between these two movements. So we're just extending that rotation basically backwards and forwards. Maybe a generous bend in the arm helps you get there. And just taking one more round each way. And just coming to find a round of breath when you've finished. And then if you're not already, we're going to come to kneeling. So you might like to invite in a block if you have one to sit on, or maybe you just kneel over the top of the heels. And having your strap, so we're going to take the strap this time, and we're just going to do a little bit of floss in here. I'll come and show you from the side. So we're taking our strap past, I would bring it way past outside the shoulders to begin with. Take it as wide as you can to begin with. So the hands, the grips, quite wide. But we're still creating slack. We don't have any slack in the strap there. So we want the strap to be tight. So we're pulling the strap with both hands so that there's tightness within that strap. And then on your next breath, we're going to bring the strap above the head, and it's coming back behind us to the lower back. Bringing it back up. And then this time just observing, did that feel comfortable? Did it feel too easy? Maybe you make your grip more narrow. And we're going to take that again. So flossing from the front towards the back and back round again. Once again, just observing how that felt. Did you go too narrow? Maybe you need to go a bit wider. And just moving between these two motions with the correct width that works for you between the grip. And maybe even taking a moment to stop along the way, anywhere that might feel a little bit sticky. And we're drawing the shoulder blades into one another here. Try not to flare out the rib cage. So we're still keeping the rib cage drawn inwards. So we're not expanding the chest forwards. Gaze is out ahead. And just taking one more round in your own time, using the breath to guide you. When you've done your final round, just releasing the strap off to one side and coming to find a round of breath. And finding your way into a tabletop in your own time. Bringing the knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders, or thereabouts. Gazes down towards the mat. And we're going to move through some scapular push-ups here. So if you haven't done these before, if you have, feel free to go there. If you haven't done these before, we're basically isolating the arms and isolating the shoulders from the body. So by that I mean we are going to bring the chest down towards the mat, but the shoulders are staying where they are, the arms are staying where they are, they're not bent. And then we're going to push back up, doming through the upper back, that kind of cat pose. Once again, the arms aren't moving. We're moving through the shoulder joint that's connected to the torso here. So coming down, and then coming up, coming down, and coming up. And taking one more round. If this is the first time doing these, it might feel a bit funky to begin with. You can still have a micro bend in the elbows if that helps you. Don't want to completely lock out. And then taking a round of breath off of the arms for a moment. Maybe circling the shoulders backwards and forwards. And then having your block in front of you. Maybe you have two blocks. So we're going to do a variation of melting heart here, but we're going to have the elbows onto the wood blocks. So once again, if you know where you're going with this variation, feel free to go there. If you don't, we're going to bring the elbows on towards the blocks, bringing the palms to meet, and then walking the hips backwards. And as you're walking the knees and hips backwards, we're slowly starting to bring the chest through so that the head is in between the arms, in between the biceps here. Energetically sending the sit bones up towards the sky, maybe the toes are tucked or untucked. And we're just finding a little bit of a passive version here, just allowing the chest to melt down towards the mat. And then on your next breath, we're coming to push into the elbows, coming up ever so slightly. So we're almost, once again, almost thinking of that cat pose. So we're protracting through the shoulders a little bit up the top here. And that the sit bones are not energetically drawn up towards the ceiling, they're probably a little bit more tucked this time. Finding a more active version of melting heart. And then on the next breath, coming to find that passive version again, allowing the chest to sink down towards the mat. Sit bones might send up towards the sky. And you might find you have a little bit more range this time. And then on your next breath, pushing back down into the elbows, finding that active range again. And then on the next breath, walking the knees back in ever so slowly as we come up, releasing the hands and finding your way into a sit. So we're coming to sit on the sit bones, extending the legs out nice and long. Nice tall spine here, crown is drawing up towards the ceiling. Finding a round of breath. And then coming to bend the right knee, bringing it close in towards the body with both hands, giving it a little squeeze towards the chest. And then on the next breath, sending the arms up towards the sky. I'm going to bring that right arm back behind us. As we do, we're bringing that left elbow to the outside of the right knee for a twist. Variation of evolved sage. If that's too much for you, you can just bring the hand round the thigh and hug the knee. On your next breath, drawing back through center, coming to extend the legs long, bringing the palms so that they're back behind you. So fingertips are facing towards the body, coming to bend the knees, placing the feet down towards the mat. And we're coming to find reverse tabletop, so pushing down into the top, into the feet, into the bases of the feet, into the palms. I'm coming to lift the hips up. So you're creating a tabletop with the body. Gaze might be up towards the ceiling, or maybe it's in front of you. Really finding that engagement through the glutes, pushing down through the feet. And then coming to send the hips back down towards the mat. Coming to extend the legs back out long. Finding the sit bones on towards the mat again and finding that length through the spine. Coming to bend the left knee, draw the knee in towards the body, give it a little hug to begin with. On your next breath, sending the hands up towards the sky, coming to place that left hand back behind you as the right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. For a seated sage twist. Once again, if that's too much, you can just hug the knee. On your next breath, drawing back up through center, coming to bring the hands beside the body, extending that left leg long. And then coming to bring the hands back behind you so that the fingertips are facing towards the body. And coming to plant the feet down towards the mat and knees are bent. Maybe you shuffle the hips forward just a little bit, ever so slightly. On your next breath, as you firm down into the feet, firm down into the hands, find a sense of engagement through the legs, maybe from that pushing down into the mat through the feet, coming to lift the hips up towards the sky for a reverse tabletop. And maybe this time the gaze stays up or it comes back, just finding your variation that feels good for your neck alignment. Taking a round of breath here. And then coming to lower the hips back down towards the mat. Coming to cross over the feet and then lifting the hips up as we come over into plank. Lifting the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And taking a moment here to pedal out the feet, straightening one leg and bending the other. Before coming to find some stillness. Taking a round of breath here. And on your next breath, coming to tiptoe your way towards the top of the mat and finding yourself in your variation of forward fold. So that could be palms to the mat, fingertips, or maybe even elbows to the thigh. Allowing the head and neck to hang heavy here. If you are with the fingertips down towards the mat, maybe you take hold of opposite elbows. Allowing the head and neck to hang heavy here. If you've taken that grip, coming to release. Throwing down through the feet, coming into ground, into the big toe, the little toe, the heel. And coming up to rise. Allowing the hands to hang heavy like a ragdoll in front of you. The chin is into towards the chest and it's the last thing to come up. As we come up to fully rise, the hands come to circle outside of the body, drawing up above the head as the palms might meet and they draw down through heart center for Anjali Mudra. Bringing the hands beside the body for Tadasana. And taking a moment here to tune into the breath. Cultivating that breath awareness again here. On your next breath, coming to bring the hands up towards the sky, palms might meet as they draw down. We're going to bend over the tops of the thighs, come to find forward fold. On your next breath, coming to bring the hands towards the shins for halfway lift, legs are straight, back is flat, gazing down towards the mat. Maybe there's a little micro bend in the knees. And then coming to frame the feet, step the right foot back and then the left foot, finding yourself in plank. For this round, we're going to lower ourselves down towards the knees, untuck the toes, and then slowly come to lower the body all the way down towards the mat. Firming down through the tops of the feet, energetically drawing the elbows in towards the body. On your inhale, coming up, lifting the head, lifting the chest for baby cobra. And coming back down, pushing up into the hands, coming through tabletop, and finding your way into downward facing dog. Taking a round of breath here. Beautiful. On your next breath, coming to find yourself at the top of the mat for forward fold. On your next breath, coming up to rise, rooting down through the feet, bringing the hands above you, draw them down for heart center. Bringing the hands beside the body for Tadasana. And taking a round of breath here. And on your next breath, coming to interlace the hands. So the hands are interlaced at heart center. And then we're going to push the palms down towards the earth. On your next breath, they're coming up towards the sky. Palms are facing up. And then letting go of that bind, coming to fold forward for swan dive. In your forward fold, coming to interlace the hands behind you. Drawing the shoulder blades towards one another, allowing the knuckles to just heavily come down towards the mat if that feels comfortable for you through the shoulders. Finding your bind here. And coming to release that grip, coming to find halfway lift. And then coming to fold over the top of the thighs, sending the right leg back and the left leg. You might like to come down to the knees again, or if not, we're going to be here in plank for a round of breath. And coming to lower all the way down towards the mat, untucking the toes. And this time we're coming to bring each arm underneath, so each elbow underneath each shoulder. So we're coming to find Sphinx pose. So in your Sphinx pose, you might like to take the legs a little bit wider here. And we're grounding down through the pubic bone, bringing the chest through the shoulders. Gaze is out ahead of you, or maybe it's down towards the mat. Firming down through the palms. And on your next breath, we're bringing the feet back through center, coming to tuck the toes. And if this feels comfortable for you, you can come straight up through forearm plank. If you want to, you can come onto the knees to begin with, and then extend, lifting the right leg, and then lift the left leg. Coming to find forearm plank. Taking a round of breath here. And then coming to lower each knee, walking the hands underneath you, underneath the shoulders for plank, and coming to lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Taking a round of breath here. On your next breath, we're going to walk the hands towards the back of the mat, finding yourself in forward fold. Maybe if you want to, you're taking the hands back behind you, coming to interlace the fingers, and then straighten the arms, coming to find that bound forward fold. Taking a round of breath here. Coming to release the grip, bringing the hands back down towards the mat, rooting down through the feet, coming up to rise, circling the arms out wide, and bringing the palms maybe to touch, draw them down through heart center. Coming to find Tadasana, and taking a round of breath. And from your Tadasana, just keeping that strap close by and any blocks close by. I'm going to bring the hands up towards the sky, drawing the palms down drawing the palms together as they draw down, folding over the tops of the thighs. On your next breath, coming to bring the hands towards the shins, halfway lift. And coming to bring the palms back down towards the mat, and we're walking the hands back out into a plank. Taking a round of breath in plank, whether that's on the knees or in full plank. And then coming to lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. On your next breath, coming to extend that right leg back behind you for three-legged dog, either pointing or flexing the toes to find that engagement through the leg. Bending the knee, bringing the knee towards the chest, stepping the foot through. If it needs a helping hand, invite it along. Coming to find low lunge. On your next breath, coming to draw up through crescent. Taking a round of breath here. Then bringing some awareness into this back leg, into these back toes. Going to pivot onto the heel, turning the toes so that they're facing the back of the mat, the long edge of the mat. And this front leg, the toes are also going to turn with us and face the corner of the top of the mat. So we're kind of in a kind of funky lunge. Drawing the hands up towards the sky. As the palms come down, we're drawing the hips over towards the left side, bending the knee, and then coming to find Skandasana, low lunge to the back of the mat. Those right toes might face up towards the sky. Lifting up on the inhale, drawing the hands up towards the sky, maybe they come down through heart center as we come over towards the right side, bending through the knee. If that's too much, maybe bring the hands towards the floor. And then drawing back up. And this time, so then versions are a bit more passive. This time we're coming not all the way down, so we're going to find a more active variation. So the right toes are still lifting off the mat, still bending into that left knee. Drawing back up, hands towards the sky as we then bend into the right knee, lift the left toes off of the mat, finding a more active version of Skandasana. And then on your next breath, coming to straighten both legs, the toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Bring the hands up towards the sky. We're going to pivot and turn the toes all to face the front of the mat again for a crescent lunge. Taking a moment to set up your foundations here. And then bringing the hands up towards the sky, interlacing the thumbs, spreading the fingers. Maybe the gaze follows. Introducing a mini little back bend here, allowing the heart to shine forward. Maybe the arms are framing the ears. And coming back through center, coming to find your crescent. And then we're coming to find a crescent twist. So we're bringing the right arm back behind us, left arm in front of us. If that's too much, you can bring the right hand towards the hip. Coming to reverse that, so sending the left fingertips up towards the sky, right hand's coming down the back of the left leg. And then coming back through crescent. And on the next breath, bring the hands to heart center, or maybe to the hips to begin with. We're going to bunny hop that back leg in, that left leg in, and then as we come to bring it all the way in, we're bringing the knee up towards hip height. So we're floating that left leg off the mat. Knee is bent. And then we're coming to flex. If that foot's not flexed, we're flexing through that left foot, bringing the left ankle across the right thigh. Really flowing down into that right foot, and then taking a bit more of a generous bend in that right knee for standing figure 4. Just taking any variation of hands here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can come to fold forward if that's there for you. If it's not accessible, you can bring the blocks underneath you onto their high setting and find a mini forward fold here. And then coming up to rise, and coming to lift the knee back up again, sending the hands up towards the sky, and then coming to bring the foot down to meet the right foot, and drawing the hands through heart center. Coming to lift the hands back up towards the sky as they draw down through heart center, fold over the tops of the thighs. Coming to find your halfway lift, and then coming to frame the feet and stepping the right foot back and then the left foot. Coming to lower that right knee down towards the mat, kickstanding it out towards the right side of the mat, and then coming to the blade edge of the left foot for a variation of side plank. So the right toes might still be tucked or untucked. That left hand is reaching up towards the sky. And on the next breath, coming to flex through that left foot, we're coming to bring the left leg to hover, so that it is in line with the hip roughly. And I'm going to lower it back down, and then coming to hover again. And you can either stay between these two motions, coming to lower or hover. If you want to add on, you can bend the knee, bring the knee towards the elbow, and then extend the left arm over the head, reaching the foot and the hands away from each other. And taking 2 more rounds like that, crunching through your side plank. And then re-extending, coming to bend that left knee, taking hold of the left ankle with the left hand. Coming to find a bind. And then coming to re-extend, coming to come back through center, bringing that left hand back down towards the mat. And coming to find yourself back in a plank. And lifting the hips up and back for downward facing dog. On your next breath, coming to extend that right leg back behind you for three-legged dog. Bending the knee, stepping the foot through. Coming to find your low lunge. And on our next breath, we're going to spiral that heel, that back left heel down towards the mat. Toes are facing the long edge of the mat for a warrior 2 setup, but we're still in our low lunge. And then bringing that right hand inside of the right foot. You can either be on the palm, on the fingertips, or you can even invite in a block here. Just noticing what feels good for you. And then sending the hand up towards the left hand, up towards the sky, coming to find your side angle. And on the next breath, we're coming to bring the left hand, so it's circling in front of the body. then it's reaching forward, gaze might follow, and then it's circling back up. And we're just going to take that 2 times. And once you've gone one way, going back the other way. And then having that strap close by, maybe coming up for a moment, so that front knee's still bent and we're in our kind of side angle lower body setup. And having that strap so that it's maybe just sitting over the top of that right shoulder for a moment. Coming back into your side angle, so coming to find that variation, maybe having the elbow on towards the knee to begin with. So if you've got the elbow on towards the thigh, we're going to extend that left arm up towards the sky if it's not already. So the palm is facing forward to begin with. Really stretching the fingertips up towards the sky and then turning the palm so it's facing the back of the room. So we're rotating through the shoulder here to begin with. And then coming to bring that arm back behind you, maybe the back of the palm just places on the lower back to begin with. Just noticing the chest. Are we spiraling the chest up towards the ceiling? Maybe you come forward and you take the hand underneath the rib cage, that right rib cage, and you just give it a little gentle guided twist to begin with before reaching that arm back up and turning it to come towards the back of the lower back again. And then start to bring some awareness into this right hand, this right elbow. So we're going to start to get light in there. If you are on that left elbow, maybe bring the hand to the block if you're using the block. And we're going to start to bring that arm, so we're going to start to lower down a little bit, start to bring that arm so that it's underneath the leg. And then we're coming to find that bind. So we're coming to find the strap with the right hand and the left hand. And then the chest is rotating up towards the sky. And then coming to release the grip. Maybe taking a moment to straighten out through that front leg. Just get a little bit achy being in there when you're breaking a pose down. And if you want to, we're going to take that one more time with the strap, or you can experiment without the strap. So coming to find your side angle, whether that's hand towards the block or elbow towards the knee to begin with. Really extending that left arm up towards the sky. And then turning the palm so it's facing the back of the room and bringing that so it's on the lower back. And then maybe starting to reach that hand a little bit further down so it's outside of the right hip. And then walking this right hand underneath the right knee, the right leg. Maybe taking hold of the fingers or the wrist. And then coming to turn the gaze up towards the sky, rotating the chest towards the side of the room. Gaze can be up or down. And then coming to release the bind and taking a moment to come out here. If this is if you're in quite an advanced practice and you want more, come to find your bind. So once you've found your bind, maybe you come to turn the body towards the mat and you hop that back leg in until you've got both feet roughly at the front of the mat. You've still got your bind here. And on your next breath, start to maybe get light, really putting the weight into that right leg and start to get light into the left leg. Coming to find a variation here of bound half split. And maybe you're just playing with the toes, kickstanding the toes here. Or maybe you are going to find that full expression by coming to bring the leg off of the mat. And that right knee is still bent here. Really flexing or pointing the toes. You can see it's not easy. And then coming to unbind. And just taking a moment to rebound however you want to. So that might be straightening through the front leg, bringing the hands up towards the sky to do a reverse triangle, or maybe finding a moment of child's pose. Just coming to find whatever variation of rebound feels good for you. If you want extra, maybe you take a round of flow, maybe you take a round of vinyasa. We're all going to meet in a downward facing dog. There is no rush, just finding your way there in your own time and taking a round of breath there. When you found your downward facing dog, coming to extend that left leg back behind you, moving in out of the way of any walls that might creep up on you, and bringing the knee towards the chest, stepping that foot through. Coming to find your low lunge. On your next breath, coming to draw up for crescent. Taking a moment here, and bringing the awareness into that back leg. We're going to pivot to turn the toes so that they face the back of the mat. So the thighs in the corner of the mat. And then the same with these front toes. So we're in a funky lunge kind of position. And bring the hands up towards the sky. As they draw down through heart center, we're bending into that left leg, finding Skandasana on the left side. Drawing the right side, drawing the left toes up towards the sky. Coming up, as you come up to inhale, the hands come up with you, bending into the left knee, and then coming to find Skandasana on the left side. Allowing the hips to come down towards that, maybe the hands are here to assist you. On the inhale, bring the hands up towards the sky. As they draw down, we're bending into that right knee, but we're finding a more passive version, this active version this time, so we're not going all the way down to the mat. Finding some strength in the legs here, those left toes are still facing up towards the sky though. Bring the hands up towards the sky as they draw back down, bending through that left knee and then lifting the right toes. And then coming to turn the toes, bringing both feet to plant on the mat, turning the toes to face the long edge of the mat, legs are straight. Bring the hands up towards the sky, pivoting to turn all 10 toes to face the front of the mat for crescent lunge. So left leg is forward. On your next breath, coming to interlace the thumbs, spreading the fingers, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Maybe bringing the arms by the ears as you find a little mini back bend here. Coming back through center, and then coming to find your crescent twist. So sending the left arm back behind us, right fingertips are reaching towards the front of the room. On your next breath, bringing that left hand to the right thigh, bringing that right hand to reach up towards the sky. And then coming back through center, coming back to find your crescent lunge. Taking a round of breath here. Then coming to bring the hands towards the hip, bunny hopping that back foot in ever so slightly as we come to place all the weight into the left leg, and then come to hover the right knee towards hip height or thereabouts. Flexing through that right foot, and then coming to bring the right foot over the top of the left thigh, bending through the left knee for a standing figure four. Once again, you can either fold forward if it's in your flexibility, or you can stay where you are, of course, as always. Or if you've got blocks, you can bring the blocks to their highest setting and come forward. Just experimenting with what feels right for your mobility. Taking a round of breath, firming down into that left foot, coming up to rise, unraveling the legs, allowing the knee to hover for one moment, before settling that foot back down to meet the other foot, for Tadasana. Taking a round of breath. Coming to bring the hands up towards the sky as the palms meet. Draw them down through heart center, folding over the tops of the thighs. Come to find halfway lift. Forward fold. Stepping the right foot back and then the left foot for plank. Coming to place both knees down. And then kickstanding that left foot out towards the left side. Then coming onto the left hand and to the right blade edge of the foot for side plank, or variation of side plank. Extending that right arm up towards the sky. Taking a round of breath here. On your next breath, coming to hover that right leg around hip height, flexing the toes or pointing to find that engagement in the leg. Then coming to lower. Just taking 2 more rounds like so in your own time. On your final round, we're going to keep that leg hovering. And then you can, if you want to, either stay there or you can draw elbow towards knee. Re-extending, sending the arm above the head, pointing the fingertips to the front of the room. Coming to take 2 more rounds. On your final extension, going to bend that right knee and flexing the foot, taking a hold of the right ankle with the right hand. And coming to re-extend that leg, bring the right hand down, coming back through centre, coming to find yourself into a plank pose. And coming to lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Taking a round of breath here. On your next breath, coming to extend that left leg back behind you for 3-legged dog. Bending the knee, bringing the knee towards the chest, stepping the foot through. Finding a round of breath in low lunge. And then coming to turn that back heel down so the toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Coming to find warrior 2 setup with the legs. And then just having that strap or block close by if you're using it. Coming to find your variation of side angle. So whether that's hand to a block, elbow to the knee, or fingertips or palm to the mat. Extending that right arm up towards the sky. Taking a round of breath. And then we're bringing that palm, bringing that right hand to sweep in front of the body, reaching towards the top front of the room, taking some circles forward through the shoulder. Gaze might follow. And once you've gone one way, going back the other way. Beautiful. So we're coming into our binded side angle again. So if you know where you're going this time, feel free to go there. If you want the guidance again. So we're going to bring that strap, you can take it over the left shoulder, so it's just hanging past the leg. Finding your side angle set up. And then once you've extended that right arm up towards the sky, turn the palm, so the palm that currently is facing forwards, turn the palm so it's facing the back of the room, and then come to place that palm, the back of the palm, so it's on the lower back. Taking hold of the strap, and then becoming light through the elbow or through the fingers on the block, putting the weight into both legs evenly, both feet. Coming to take that left hand and finding the arm underneath that left leg through the left knee, finding hold of the strap. And it could be that your arm is all the way to the side of the right body as well. You might not necessarily get that hand all the way back behind you. And then we're coming to shine the chest towards the side of the room. Gaze might be up. So we're twisting through the spine here. We want the chest to be open. Coming to release the strap. Taking a moment here to come out of this pose. Maybe you straighten the front leg for a moment. I'm going to take that one more time. Once again, you can either invite in the strap or you can find yourself not using the strap. So coming to find your variation of side angle. Right arm is stretching up towards the sky. Palm is facing forward. On your next breath, turn the palm to face the back of the room and then bringing the back of the palm to the lower back. Continue to reach that hand so it's outside of the left thigh. I'm going to take this left hand
weave it underneath the left leg, and maybe you find your fingertips straight away. Maybe take hold of the wrist if it's there for you. And then we're turning the body towards the side, rotating the rib cage so that we're facing up towards the sky. Taking a round of breath. You can either stay here or you can unbind. If you want extra, just coming into that left leg, placing the weight into that left leg, keeping that bind, becoming light through that back foot as we bunny hop it all the way into the front. Taking a round of breath here, really thumbing down to that left foot, and then coming to get light, still finding a bend in that left knee. Doesn't have to be a big one, but becoming light through that right leg. Maybe you're flexing or pointing. Just listening to the body here as well. Coming to place that foot down, unbinding and finding yourself in Tadasana. Taking a round of breath, maybe closing down the eyes, tuning into the body. And then we're going to find ourselves down onto the mat. You can come to find a moment of child's pose as if it's there for you, but we are all going to come to find a seat with the legs extended out long. And bringing some awareness into the legs. We're coming to bend through that right knee, bringing the knee towards the body. Taking the right foot across to the left side of the left leg. And bringing the right heel outside of the left thigh as we then stack left knee on top, right knee on top of left knee. As you can see, there's quite a big gap in the space here for me. Not necessarily will your knees meet, but they might also. So this is a modified version of cow with the legs. Once again, you might like to have your strap close by. We're going to come to extend that right arm up towards the sky, and we're sending that left arm out towards the side, thumb is facing down. Bringing that left arm up the back, palm is facing the back of the body, as we then bring the right fingertips down the back, right elbows energetically sending up towards the sky. Maybe the fingertips meet. If they don't, bringing that strap in. Taking hold of the strap with the right hand and the left hand, so that we are creating this variation of cow pose with the arms. And then coming to release that bind with the hands. And then bringing the hands out ahead of you, and you're taking a moment to either fold forward, if it's just a very slight forward fold. Stretching through the hamstrings, drawing those left toes towards the face before coming to soften. And coming back up, unraveling the legs, taking the feet as wide as the mat, and just allowing the hips, the knees to come over side to side, taking some window wipers here. And then extending those legs back long again. Bringing that strap over to the left shoulder this time if you want to use it. And bending the left knee, bringing the knee towards the chest, and taking that left foot over the right leg. Giving it a little squeeze before heel toeing that heel out so it's outside of the right leg, sorry. So we're stacking knee on top of knee here. Sending the arms up towards the sky. And then we're coming to bend the left arm, the left elbow, and bringing those left fingertips down the back of the body. And then coming to extend that right arm out beside us. Turn the palm so it's facing the back of the room, so the thumb's turning down, and then bringing that to walk up the back. So once again, either the fingertips might meet or you're using that strap, but we're energetically sending that left elbow up towards the sky, right elbow down towards the mat. Let go of that bind if you've taken that. Just placing the strap off to one side, sending the fingertips, both fingertips up towards the sky as we bring the hands down towards the mat. Maybe you walk the hands forward a bit for a forward fold. Flexing the right toes towards the face to find that engagement through that leg before coming to soften. Taking a round of breath here. Walking the hands back up. And coming to unravel the legs. Maybe taking some little windshield wipers here again if that feels good for you. And then coming to find your way all the way down to the mat. Knees are bent, feet are planted on towards the mat. Once you've found your way down to the mat, just taking a round of breath here. And then drawing both knees in towards the chest, maybe taking hold of the knees, the shins with the hands, or taking hold of forearms in front of the shins, wrapping, taking hold of both elbows with each hand, finding knees to chest. And then releasing that grip if you took that option, bringing the hands out towards the side so they're at shoulder height. On your next breath, bringing the knees over towards the right side. For a supine twist, we're maintaining that lower back, the upper back, towards the mat. If that's too much, you can extend that bottom leg and take hold of the top leg with the right hand. And drawing the knees back through center. On your next breath, taking both knees over towards the left side. Once again, if that's not good for you, you can extend that bottom leg and take hold of the top leg. But we're maintaining that upper back down towards the mat. Gaze can be up or it can be down the left arm. And then drawing the knees back up through center and giving them a last little squeeze in towards the body. And coming to extend the legs long up towards the sky, allowing the legs just to be nice and loose and heavy in the air here. Maybe giving them a wiggle backwards and forwards, maybe side to side, softening through the ankles, through the knees. Maybe you want to incorporate the arms in here, bringing the arms up towards the sky also, allowing them to be fairly loose here for waterfall pose. Taking one more round of breath here before coming to bring the feet and the arms all the way back down to the mat, extending the legs out long, taking the arms beside the body. And coming to find your final resting pose in Shavasana. If you don't want to take it laying down, feel free to come to find a seat. Or if you want to stay with the legs in the air version, you can do so. Maybe even taking them up the wall feels quite nourishing. And just starting to tune your attention inwards. Start to maybe close down the eyes or take a soft gaze if it's there for you. And allowing your body to be held by the foundations beneath you. Feeling each point of contact. Maybe the heels, the hips, the shoulders, the head. And coming to find your final resting pose. When it's time to come out, I will guide you. Until then, Shavasana. You can either continue to stay here in your Shavasana if you want an extra long one, or if you want to close off your practice. We're going to start to bring some movement into the fingers, the toes, extending that movement into the wrists, the ankles. And maybe taking a full body stretch, bringing the legs together, arms above head. Maybe rolling over to one side before coming up to find a seat. And once you've found a seat, maybe drawing the hands to heart center for Anjali Mudra, or bringing the hands to the body, anywhere else that feels comfortable for you. And taking a moment to bring the chin in towards the chest, and bowing to yourself. I invite you here to take a moment of gratitude for something that may have happened in your day or your week so far. It could be very small. It could be your practice here today. It could be that you showed up on your mat for yourself here today. And once you found that peace that is what you're grateful for so far this week or your day, just taking a moment to hold that in your thought, in your heart. And deepest gratitude to each of you for your practice here today. Namaste. And thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice here today, guys. Wishing you the best week. Take care. Bye.